Hello everyone. Today I'd like to show you how I process my reverb bus. Reverb can do great things. It can glue your tracks together, but it also has two major problems. One, it muddies up your mix pretty quickly, and most reverbs sound pretty obvious, and that's something you don't want. You want reverb to create a room, but it shouldn't be obvious, or at least not too obvious. And well, at least in my case, I in most cases I find myself using a reverb that's way too obvious. In Reaper you can just use reverb, insert that on your reverb track, and you can import impulse responses. I like impulse responses better than just a reverb generator because, well, I don't know, I just like it better to use impulse response. So let's jump right in and let's take a listen to this little bridge that I have here without the reverb.
Your words were spinning like a kite.
Okay, so that sounds, well, pretty dry, but let's take a listen what it sounds like with the reverb on. As always, I've exaggerated it a bit, so you shouldn't do this in a real mix, but it's just for the example. So, as you may hear, it just doesn't sound great. It's not a really long reverb, like more than 1 second, but so there are still a few things that need to be done. First, let's equalize it. And as I said, the high frequencies cause the reverb to sound obvious. So let's take those out. Let's say about 10,000 kilohertz. 10 kilohertz.
Your words were spinning like a kite caught in a...
So maybe you not hear that. So that's a subtle change, but it certainly is a small improvement. Now let's turn on the high pass filter as well, and let's say 120 Hertz. Things below that you really don't need anything in the reverb.
Your words were spinning.
So it definitely sounds better, but it's still a bit muddy. So let's take a look what's around here. You hear it?
Your words were spinning like a kite.
Those frequencies around here don't add anything to the sound, so just take them out. And now let's hear what the final result is with the equalizer on and off.
Your words were spinning like a kite caught in a gale. Knives that cut the cloth to take.
The reverb sounds less obvious, not really muddy, and that's what we want. But the funny thing is, you can also add some distortion, which can do really nice things to your reverb. And that's something I have never thought about until I watched Pensado's plays. And well, I don't know exactly who said it. I think it was Manny Mannequin. Anyway, I never thought of that idea that you can do more things than just equalize the bad frequencies out. You can add distortion, you can add phaser if you want. And well, that's something I am going to show you. I happen to have Pot Farm, which is really nice. And let's take a listen to what that does, adding a little bit of distortion.
Your words were spinning like a kite caught in a gale. Knives are cut.
So, well, I cannot exactly tell you what it does, what I hear what it does, but I think it just sounds cool. So let's isolate the reverb and maybe we can hear it a little bit better. Okay, so now I have the EQ on. I'll turn Pot Farm on and off and see what it does. So as you can see, the distortion removes even more low end and boosts well 2 to 5k around here, and so that's one thing. But you can also add a phaser, and that is also very cool. Of course, you might not want to do this on the whole song, because then it's not an effect anymore. You won't hear it after 1 minute. But in a bridge you can really try to do something like this. It's really cool. Take a listen. And now in the context of the mix.
Your words were spinning like a kite caught in a gale. Knives are cut the cloth to take the wind out.
Okay, so it's very subtle. Let's turn up the thing and see what it does.
Your words were spinning like a kite caught in a gale. Cut the cloth to take the
So it sounds weird, but in a cool way. Anyway, try to experiment. You can do an awful lot of cool things on the reverb bus, more than just only the reverb plugin and EQ the bad frequencies out. So don't be afraid to just experiment. And I showed you two things that you can do: add a little bit of distortion and phaser, but there are many things you can do. So have fun experimenting with this, and I hope you learned something today, and see you next time.